All right, I've been wanting to talk to this guy. Deon Derrico is here, star of the TLC show Doubling Down with the Derricos. 5 seasons. 5 seasons!
5 seasons. Yes. Yes.
Not to mention you and Karen. By the way, how many? Okay, I know you have 16 kids total, right?
No, 14.
14.
Yes, 14 children total.
You and Karen have 14 total, but you have an adopted son, right? Don't you?
I do not speak of him.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
that was I understand now when they say not adopting a child that's past the age of baby. Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
You
So
two
I
are
have
not speaking. You're not connected.
we're not connected at all.
Okay, got it. Why did I think? Then did I think that you had a daughter from a previous relationship, or no?
No,
Just you and Karen, 14.
just Karen and I, 14 children. Yes.
Okay, but you guys had to have did scientists study you? Because Karen had this amazing thing where she would have twins, triplets, twins. Do you guys have some sort of genetic component together where you're predisposed to multiples?
I would say yes for multiple reasons. One, my mother miscarried triplets just prior to having me. Then I have twins on rampant on both my mother and father's side. And then Karen has twins rampant on both her mother and father's side.
Wow.
Yes. And then we found out after we conceived the quintuplets, we found out from our doctor that in African American couples, when they get a little more mature in age, the more likely they are to have multiples. So at the point that Karen and I started with the multiples, I was what? I was 40. I was in my 40s, and Karen was in her 30s. So yeah. So I guess between all of that, it just yeah.
Quintuplets. Quintuplets. What was that like for Karen carrying quin? I can't even imagine. I'm actually 6 months pregnant right now. So, but
Hmm.
Karen, how did she must have felt a ton of movement in there all the time.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you
Thank
on
you.
your pregnancy. That's such a beautiful thing.
It is.
Just going through that whole process, it really truly is. But yes, it was definitely a daunting task. She had to be on bed rest from 4 months of pregnancy all the way through the end. Yes.
Oh my God. Karen's a
Yep.
strong woman. Oh, that would be
Yeah.
so tough to do.
Yeah. That was tough.
It was
That
just
was
so
tough.
high risk.
Yes, well, she's high risk anyway. So just imagine she's high risk. She was high risk with our singletons. That's how we found out about the progesterone and then her ability. The progesterone, as I'm sure you know, is the glue that helps the baby stick to the walls of the uterus. And Karen, for some reason, just wasn't producing enough progesterone. So that's why we kept miscarrying. But then we also found out in that process that on top of her with the progesterone, she had to get a what you call it, a where they put the stitch,
Yeah, for
a
your
cyclage,
cervix,
a
a
cyclage.
cervical. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. I'm sure that's a lot on her cervix.
it
Yeah.
is. And so she had to do that with the first two. So just imagine with five. So that's why the doctor said he wanted her on bed rest very early. So it was very daunting on both she and I because she had to just be on bed rest doing absolutely nothing but trying to eat. And she's already a very finicky eater. And of course, I was back here because she was in Arizona. I was back here taking care of the older four.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, I remember the miscarriage stories that you shared on the show. That was, yeah, I've had multiple miscarriages as well. It's just so emotional. It's such
It,
a big ride, but
it
yeah,
is.
you guys
It
have
is.
just 14 beautiful kids and yeah. Well,
Thank you.
I wanted to have you on. You made a big announcement this week on the show, well, on your Instagram about the show. And
Yes.
you've been very popular on TLC, but essentially, it's almost like kind of you guys have been sitting on this for about a year. But long story short, Doubling Down with the Derricos is not coming back on TLC. We're done with
Correct.
TLC.
That is correct. So we have been waiting, as you say, about a year. As a matter of fact, it was a year ago, October, that I had spoken with the network. It was shortly after the divorce was announced, and they wanted to come out and film immediately after the divorce. And as you can imagine, that's a lot. Having the divorce, I had the death of my nephew that I just found out on the show was my deceased brother's biological son. So and he was dying. We didn't know at the time that he was definitely going to die, but it was very glim for us, or for him, shall I say. So during the divorce, it was just a whole lot going on, and TLC wanted to come out and film immediately after the divorce was announced.
Sure. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I was like, wait a minute, guys, I need to get through this thing with my nephew. We didn't anticipate that the divorce would be found out. In our minds, we weren't big enough for that. In our minds, we just wasn't big enough for that type of hoopla, if you will.
Really?
And so,
Oh, people know
yes,
everything about you. What? Are you kidding? You're on Reddit. By the way, people think the divorce is fake. I gotta ask you about that. Come on.
yeah.
People think it
So
was fake.
Yeah, so when we tried to keep it hidden,
No way.
yeah, we found it in Humboldt, Nevada. I personally believe that someone in that little small town, I mean, it has to only be 20 people in the whole damn town. I personally believe that someone who took in our paperwork notified TMZ. And that's how the story got blasted everywhere. It was through TMZ. So that was just a shock because it was about 2 or 3 weeks after the divorce was filed that TMZ got the story. So I had already spoken with several of my reality star friends who've gone through bitter divorces, and they schooled me on, how I should file it. I should not file it in Las Vegas because TMZ got their story like the day that they filed it. So we felt like we were pretty good when 3 weeks had passed and we hadn't heard anything. We felt like, okay, good. We're in the clear. Nope, not at all.
And so TLC, what were they in contact with you prior to you guys? Like, did you tell them you were filing, or they saw it on TMZ too, called you up and go, okay, we want to put cameras up immediately?
Exactly. They saw the story on TMZ. So to answer your question, no, TLC was not aware of the divorce. TLC had nothing to do with the divorce. No kind of way does or did TLC promote the breaking up of our family to that capacity. People felt like, oh, reality TV messes up families. That is not true. TLC did not have anything to do with our divorce. As a matter of fact, TLC, I give kudos to them. They did their very best to try to, like, hey guys, what's going on? Can we step in? Is there anything we can do? We hate this. Everyone here at the network is, in turmoil over the fact that you guys are divorcing. And we just let them know, listen, we appreciate it. We're okay. We're dealing with this to the best of our ability. We did not want this to get out. Unfortunately, it did. At that point, they asked us if we would do a press release, and we did a joint statement because we've always been amicable, and they wanted us to do a joint statement. And Karen and I, we came together, discussed it, and we did do that because at that time we were still anticipating going forward with the season 6. We was not. We had not made the decision to no longer go or to no longer proceed forward with TLC. We had not made that decision at that time.
But wait, you don't think reality TV, not okay, forget TLC. They were kind to you. You've said that like a million times, on your video, of course. Like
Yeah.
that's great. But you don't think reality TV played some part in you and Karen separating? I mean, people have a lot to say about you two as a couple. I mean, people have been telling Karen she should leave you. You're a narcissist. I mean, like, I'm just
I
repeating what
got you.
people say on
No.
the internet. I mean,
Yeah.
like none of that got in your heads a little?
Not even a little bit. Television as a whole, TLC, television, fame, stardom, whatever you would call it, had absolutely nothing to do with what she and I were dealing with. Absolutely. Understand, Karen and I have been together since 2001. Since 2001. So I say that to say, like any, long lasting relationship, it has its ups and downs. I don't care what no one say. And you have those moments. The thing that I do wish that the viewers had gotten a chance to see was how it escalated to that. We were already privately filming.
Yeah.
We were already privately capturing everything that was going on within our family. Because just so you know, we had filmed ourselves some of season 1. So we know how to film, how to set the lighting. That's what I'm telling you. The lighting is horrible in here right now.
You
But
look good. You look good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we learned a lot about filming and the best angles and that type of thing. And so we felt like we owed the viewers some understanding as how we got here. And that's where TLC and I, we sort of, I hate to say went our separate ways, but I shall I say, we wanted to make sure that story was told accurately. We wanted to make sure we had understanding for the sensitivity of it for our children. We wanted to be very raw, very real, but at the same time, we had to respect everyone's position. Of course, mine, Karen's, the children. Gigi. Gigi, of course, she had her friends and whatnot, and people and fans is asking her like, "What happened to your son and your daughter-in-law?" So we wanted to make sure that the story was told accurately, at the same time real. And in order for that to be done, one of the requirements that both Karen and I had is we had to be executive producers. We should have been executive producers. I said this on my live last week. We should have been executive producers already because we've acted in the capacity of an executive producer. We've been doing it behind the scenes, figuring out what scenes should be shown, how it should be shown, what is the best depiction of what we are, who we are, how we look. And so that was always in the forefront, of our minds. So it was just so complicated. I wouldn't wish that time on anyone because we were going through the divorce again and dealing with the death of my nephew, the sickness that led to the death of my nephew.
Was that really the sticking point too? You guys had kind of after 5 seasons were like, we want an executive producer credit, and they're probably like, no.
That was one of them. Yes,
Yeah.
that was one of them. We wanted some guarantee toward other seasons. We didn't want to give them that story, and they really, really wanted it. And we understand it. This reality TV, they really, really wanted the story, but we didn't want to give that without having much. We've gone 5 seasons. Understand, Sarah, with bending and twisting and turning, and said, okay, we'll wait. And at that point, because of how they were, I don't want to say pressing us, but because of how they were so hard, core on, we want this, we felt like, wait a minute, let's take a step back. Let's take this time to ask for some of the things that we had let go prior to now. And I think this is the right time since we have to do it. We didn't want the story to even air. We wanted to keep that private, the whole divorce. That was why we filed it in Humboldt, Nevada.
Okay, so you've alluded to this on your live. Basically, and you said it here, like there were a lot of reasons that they didn't show for years of you and Karen's marriage that things were kind of declining. What are one or two examples? Like what were some of the things that kind of brought you to the point where you were like, we're going to divorce?
Okay, so let me correct you. It wasn't that our marriage was declining. That's why I went back to say that in 2001 which is when we met. That's a long time. That's a long time from then till now. All types of, growth and, as you can imagine, disagreements, arguments,
Yeah.
happiness, everything. It wasn't necessarily how do I want to say this? It wasn't necessarily it declining. I think with every marriage, if infidelity is not a part of it, which it wasn't with us, I think with every marriage, it just has its moments where it's like, okay, I just can't take this no more. I'm done. I can't take this no more. And then, of course, you get past it, you talk, you're good until the next time it happens. And without me going too far into it, without before you guys see it, it was just everything. But I think the straw for me, to be honest, I would have to say was the whole thing with Darian and her schooling. That was the starting point for me.
Which Darian wanted to go to public school, right?
No, no, no. Remember, this was her going away to college. So remember,
Okay.
yeah, remember Karen was advocating for her to go away to college and she didn't bring it to me. I didn't know anything about it until right there to end. And I'm okay. I support anything our children want to do, but it should be their choice. It shouldn't be us playing, the fields behind the scenes. Each one of our children is owed the right to be who they want to be. And it's our job as parents to support that. And that's where Karen and I didn't see eye to eye. And we had some very contentious moments. I mean, very contentious. And TLC was in on it. They saw it. I mean, they saw it at that point. And a lot of that got filmed. So you guys got a chance to see the big fallout that we had in the bedroom of the new house. All that was real, and all of that was a very contentious moment that had been leading up for probably prior to you guys seeing that had probably been brewing for a couple of months. And so it was just a lot. That was a lot.
Because what did you feel that Karen just didn't keep you in the loop or undermined you? Like, what was the.
Yeah, I sort of felt like, yeah, you could have and should have told me this. I should have been included on this. I tell her all the time, like, women and men are so different. Men, we process things. We don't want to talk about it. We want to just handle the problem. Of course, women, she wants to, express everything that happened in the run of her day. I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear that. I got enough stuff on my mind and plate already. And so I felt like with this situation, that was the one thing that she should have been bringing to me, and she didn't.
Yeah.
And that really got me because she's telling me everything. I mean, she tells me when she's at a stoplight and someone walks across and wave at her, and a piece of napkin blew out of the window. And then you don't tell me that you've been advocating for our daughter to go way to New York, but not advocating as if Darian wanted it, because Darian didn't. It was really Karen pushing her, and Darian felt pushed. And Darian came to me and confided in me. As a parent, she asked me not to mention it to mommy. I tried to take the back seat by not doing it. I watched things get worse, at which point I told Darian I have to talk to mommy. And that's when things really blew up, because then mommy said, oh no, I wasn't pushing her. Darian really wanted to do this. I'm like, no. She told me. So I was forced to have to tell her that Darian confided in me, which made Darian feel a kind of way. She was in between the two of us, and it was just, for me, that was a real moment. That was a real moment in a marriage, in parenting, in a family. And it was a big struggle for me getting past that. So things was exchanged, words were said, and that really was the breaking point. And all of that sort of happened, I would say, within a 2.5, 3 month time period. That was within a bubble. And keep in mind, we were filming the entire time. So at first, TLC wasn't even aware of it. Like, and when I say TLC, the producers, they weren't even aware of it. We just in the house doing our thing. They could feel the tension between Karen and I. And it just started exploding on television.
When you and Karen divorced, what did Karen say, like, was her breaking point? Was it that same fight or was it something different for Karen?
It was the same fight. It
Yeah,
was
that did
basically
it
the
for
same
her.
fight. Yeah, we were just on opposite sides of that of the ring. And we were on opposite sides of the ring almost the whole time, up until right at the end. But by that time, the damage had been done, I felt. We feel, I don't want to say this, we have not, we're not remarried, of course. I have some challenges with that myself. But there is chances of us reconciling. Like, in other words, it wasn't so severed that couldn't happen. It's just that now life is lifing. We're having to take care of these 14 children.
How long have you guys been officially divorced? Because the divorce kind of happened pretty quick.
It was official last year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, June, July, May. Between May, June, and July. I get it mixed up because of my nephew's passing. Literally, the day that the story broke by TLC, I mean, excuse me, the day that the story broke by TMZ, I was on my way to Detroit that day to see my nephew. That day. So I sort of got, I mean, just in a world span of things mentally and emotionally. So I just sort of forget. I just know it's between May and July of last year. So it's been over a year at this point.
What's your hang up with being remarried? Like,
I don't believe in the traditional paper marriage. And that's been a huge issue for both Karen and I. Because, of course, Karen is old school. She's the old school religion of, we can't shack up. We can't live together and not be married. That's her religious beliefs, and I respect it. I feel total opposite. I feel like marriage is respectfully, a legalized scam from the perspective of when you divorce, how everyone profits and benefits. And the fact that, I mean, that's how I feel,
yeah.
and the fact that it becomes news. Like, if she and I are having our own personal issues and we decide to break up, why is that everyone's business. And I don't mean that in a way, in a sense of reality TV. I'm speaking in general. Like even if we were actors, if she and I were actors and actresses, why is it important that she and I divorced? We're dealing with enough already with the divorce. Now I have to deal with people publicly, the media, paparazzi. When TMZ contacted us, I'm not spitting on, on TMZ, but they literally, we got the email at 10 o'clock that morning. I thought when Karen came and showed me the email, I thought she was crying. And I thought that my nephew had died. I didn't know that this was TMZ. So the same email she had, I had the same email. And it basically said, "Hi, we're TMZ. We know about the divorce. We want to hear from you." We didn't even get a chance to figure it out before, like 2 hours later, it was all over everywhere. I mean, so it was just, we were literally overtaken, overwhelmed with phone calls, not just from the network, understand, from our families. Our children didn't know at that point. We had not set, because remember,
Wow,
yeah,
really?
yes, all of this, you'll see this all carried out on television. When our show comes out, you will see this carried out on television. They didn't know. So it was
Okay,
just
so you guys went and filed and you hadn't sat the kids down and said, we're doing this. Like you guys,
right.
your intention was what? You were going to file and then tell them after.
Yes, but it's a little deeper than that. It's so, when you see it on television, you'll understand.
Okay.
Everyone will understand how this was such a shock to the world. It We thought we knew what we were doing. We didn't. And that's why I'm against the traditional on paper divorce. Because in a real life situation, if she and I aren't working out, no one has to. In a real life situation where there's no legal paper on the table, if she and I took a spiritual ceremony, which is what I've always wanted, in that situation, no one would have known. She and I could have said, "Hey, we're going to separate. We're going to still stay together for the children. We're going to make things work for the children. But you and I are no longer a couple." And no one would have ever known. But because we signed this legalized document, the
Yeah.
world is now in on it. And I don't think that was God's intentions when he came up with marriage. I just
Well,
don't think that was it.
you guys are public figures, so people want all the dirt on you
I know.
all the time.
I know. And they make up dirt. Not They don't just want their own, they don't just want the dirt. Because the dirt is the dirt, right? The dirt doesn't change, it's the dirt. But then they take that dirt and add sand and whatever else is dirty to the dirt with their own narrative. And I think that's a lot of the challenges.
Does that bother you? Because I feel like when you come back to TV, it's going to be worse. Are you look at
It
like what?
doesn't.
It doesn't bother you.
It
Okay.
doesn't. It really doesn't. No,
You
I
don't care.
don't think anyone that decides to step into the public figure or on television, I think that's something that should come with great understanding ahead of time. I mean, you're getting ready to be drugged through the mud. People are going to have, as you say, I'm a narcissist because I'm taking care of my family. I pay the cost to be the boss. It is what it is. And I will never bow down to that. I love my position as a father, as a leader. When I was a husband, I love my position as a husband. And with that being said, at the end of the day, it falls on my shoulders as being the head of the house. So I have to have my hands involved in everything that's going on within that house. And to be honest, although Karen and I are divorced, we still come together on most issues as a married couple. And I say as a married couple, we come together as a couple raising these 14 children
Yeah.
because no matter what, that's still in place.
So are you and Karen? I mean, it's been over a year. Are you guys seeing other people? Are you in therapy to try to yeah, I mean, you're a good looking man. She is too. I mean, and you're famous. I mean, are you guys seeing other people while trying to figure this out? I don't know. Everything goes now.
At this point, we are just working it out as a family collectively. No, I'm not dating. She's not dating. And we've talked about how would that look because our biggest concern is our children. It's a complicated, it's a unique, complicated, different, esoteric. I can't think of enough words to describe it because of the 14 children. Understand, being married, having one child, and divorcing is a challenge.
Sure.
Being married, having two children It's a challenge. But then when you quantify that to 14, yes. And we want to make sure that we're sensitive to each of their individual needs. We want to answer their individual questions because, they're human, right? They have questions as to, just like you guys do. How did this happen? You know,
Yeah.
we didn't know this.
Yeah. Why
And
can't you work it out? Yeah.
exactly. And so I wish I could really tell you guys. Oh my God, I wish I could. Just know you will see it all unravel in live on television because I really want you guys to understand how this happened. It's important for me that the world understands the real on how we got here. So it'll make sense.
Okay, where do the kids live now and where do you live? Like, are you guys still all cohabitating like in one house? Do you come and go? Like what's the arrangement?
Great question. So we're basically between two houses, but technically we're still together because I'm at their house every day. We didn't really want to create that. They come over here with me, which they still do, but they come over here with me and then they go back over there with Karen. So remember, I'm the cook. Then we only have the 115 passenger van. So that would mean we would have to buy another 15 passenger van. Remember, in an average household, when two people divorce, they have one or two children and both people have their own cars. Well, in this case, we've shared our family car, which is our 15 passenger van. So that makes it very challenging. Like we try to figure like, what do we do with this? So that's a lot of the things you will see us work through on television with our next show. You'll watch us work through those challenges. But I'm at their house every day.
Is Karen homeschooling the kids?
Yes, she is.
All of them, or like some go to public school, some or private, or what happens? How
Darian, of course, is out of school. Derek, he's transitioning back to a public school because he's really heavy on basketball. And in order for him to be a part of this very great basketball team, he had to join the school that team is at. So he's at regular school, and that just happened. The rest of the children are still being homeschooled. Karen she's doing a phenomenal job. She's working with some governmental projects regarding school, and you guys will see that also as well unfold on our new show. So that right there is taking its own legs and walking right off.
how has you kind of alluded this in the video too. How has your financial situation been? The show provided an incredible platform for you. That was sort of taken away. I think reading between the lines of your video, you're a little angry at the fact that like TLC didn't give you a lot of notice. You guys rely on that income. You're an entrepreneur. What are you guys doing for work? How is the money situation?
That is a very good question. We're just like everyone else. I mean, the economy has eaten us alive. Understand, when we're filming, we get paid while we're filming.
Yeah.
And as we're filming. So what you guys saw last year, that was filmed almost a year prior. So the way we do it is we manage that money, that income, we manage that for a whole year, or in some cases, year and a half, until the next season. Well, in this case, because I told TLC, I felt like they were punishing us, if you will, for not letting them come and film. So they shelved us basically. And I felt like, hey, I feel like with the fight and what we've given as a family, I mean, you have 18 people from Gigi, challenges with the cancer, down to the medical challenges with our two youngest ones, Dawson and Diaz. We have made our lives totally available, and we had made our lives totally available for TLC. And the one time we had a real life situation, which we felt like the divorce was, they were a little angry. They wasn't disrespectful, but they were a little angry that we didn't let them immediately come in the house and film. And we felt like, look, this is a real situation. Give me a moment. And so with that being said, when they decided to shelf us afterward, that's when I said, wait a minute, we haven't heard anything yet. We're being contacted by many production companies, other networks. And when they started expressing things that they wanted to do with the family, I'm like, they're saying things they want to do with the family that TLC haven't given. And we've been with TLC for 5 seasons. So at that point, I told TLC, I said, I asked them, what does it look like if we decide we don't want to continue film with you guys? And they says, well, we would like for you to, but if you decide you don't want to, we respect that. We would just, at that point, we would enforce our non-compete clause. The non-compete clause prevented us from doing podcasts like the one I'm doing with you
Yeah.
today, writing a book, doing any television, any speaking out, which remember, we didn't want to speak out about the divorce too much anyway. We wanted that to be saved for our television, our new
Sure.
television show. But still, they kept us from the opportunities that we had to make money then that would have assisted in supporting the family. So now we have two households. We have two washers and dryers, two stoves and refrigerators, two kitchens.
Yeah.
Everything is quantified. So to answer your question, it is a struggle. It is a struggle. It has been a struggle. So now that's why I made that post on November 1st. Like, thank God we can do things like this podcast with you right now.
Yeah. What are you doing? Is there a way fans can support you? Are you back in real estate? Did you ever exit real estate? What is like your 9 to 5?
My 9 to 5, I drive a bus. I drive a school bus.
Yeah.
That's
Good.
my 9 to 5. Yeah.
Great.
I went back to work. I have not worked in over 20 years. I had to go back to work for medical benefits, for the children, for financial benefits. So that changed a lot for us, if you can imagine. Karen, she's back in the school system. She's a substitute school teacher, but she's also launching her new program before and after school, because what we found with our own children is that there's a lot of parents just like we are, that's struggling or that has struggled with getting the type of tutoring and assistance with their children. So she's launched a before and after school program that's phenomenal. And of course, our children as well is a part of that program. So that has been a great thing. So we're putting things back together, if you will, bit by bit. But it's a struggle because we're part of the same society that you're part of. We're part of the same economy. So when it hit, hey, someone said, I can't believe you work a regular job. Absolutely, I will work a regular job. I have to take care of my 14 children, period.
And most TLC, TLC has always been known as more of a, we're capturing you in the real, in your real life. And they've always wanted their cast members to have like regular jobs. Most of them do, for everybody from Sister Wives, Seeking Sister Wife, all the shows. Most people work a full-time job and then, have this other income. It's a lot. And the entertainment
Yes.
business is so rough right now. I
Yes.
wanted to reach out to you too, because I'm like, I want to see them, but I'm like, I'm sort of with the people in your comments. It's like, fuck going back to a network, put it out yourself, own the content yourself.
It's funny you would say
A
that.
paywall on YouTube, you've got hundreds of thousands of fans, and do your own content. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to pitch a show right now.
Yeah. So to your point, we have and we are exploring so many options.
You are. Okay.
That's the beauty in this is we have been presented with a lot. So don't misunderstand me. TLC done good by us because they helped to give us a household name. So I'm not angry in no way with
Sure.
TLC. I would not say that I would never ever work with any kind of affiliate of TLC ever again. No, that wasn't. I would definitely want things to be differently. I would express that and I would ensure that things are differently in certain areas. But overall, I still love TLC. I mean, it's just like, Karen and I are divorced. I still love her. So I still love TLC. It's just I would do things differently. But they taught me a very valuable lesson that has come to serve us right now, which is why we have not signed on the dotted line with anyone. We're ironing out who's going to offer us the most, and we're still exploring what you just said, and that's keeping all the creative power within ourselves. So thank God they teed us up to be in the best position. It's just a matter of us capitalizing off of that best position.
It is. And it's, look, to self-distribute is a ton of work. It's like, I know you and Karen have already been kind of executive producers, so you know what goes into it, but it's hard, it's a lot. You got to shoot, you got to take all the camera costs. It's a lot. So yet, I get it. I get why a network is a godsend, even if you have to give up a lot, because they do all the heavy lifting.
Yes, they do. They really do. People don't understand that. They're like, oh, I feel like TLC. No, I feel like what I'm saying is real. It's accurate. I won't say real, it's accurate. But at the same time, and I told TLC this, y'all are business owners. And I get it. You have to make sure your bottom line, it bottom lines. And
Right.
so, with that being said, I wasn't angry there. I was more so angry at the advice I gave or had given. I never got paid for, because remember, I acted in many ways as an executive producer. I never got paid for it. I never even got the title or the credit for it. And then now we're here, and I still have people asking me, so what did you do? Because remember, we didn't shed a lot of light on me with my real estate as much as we should have, and as much as I was really doing it. And we didn't shed light on Karen with this homeschooling. I mean, I had been telling Karen this entire time, you need to create some type of program. Karen works miracles. I mean, literally, she works miracles. And that was never, a light was never shedded on that properly. So now we're doing it, and getting to that point, she's launching her homeschool, not her before and after school program, and she's integrating it into the school system, which is a huge opportunity for us as a family, but specifically for Karen and our children.
Okay, why did TLC never do that? Is it because they don't want to? They don't do that on any of their shows, people that have other side hustles and businesses. Why
They
is
will
that?
they will show it. They just don't see the importance in it, if you will. That's just like one of my issues is
Yeah.
we work together a lot as a large family, but understand, Sarah, we do things individually with our children. So you may see me out with Danico and Deani, and you may see Karen out with Darian. And then, we switch it up. There are times that we're with our children 101. And I felt like those moments should have been captured by you guys, the audience, because many times you're dealing with your children one on one. You don't have 14 children, but you still are dealing with issues that a parent to a child is going through. So I felt like we have so many moments that could not only help our
Yeah.
viewers, but are, I mean, hilarious. And I feel like they missed the mark with that. They left a lot on the table, but to our benefit now, to our benefit, the very things that I was pushing for then, I feel like respectfully, they'll get a chance to see, wow, we really should have listened. Because a lot of times they don't know what's going on. They think they have a program that's almost ran by a computer. That's how I look at networks. They're ran like robots, respectfully. They're not dealing with the real that people need to see and that people want to see. And that's what we are priding ourselves in bringing before you guys now. Real TV and real issues, real moments, so you as a parent can now parallel yourself to what we've done and say, wow, this is how I can overcome it. But if you're looking at a family with 14 children, a lot of people aren't able to make that connection. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have 14 children, but this same rule applies to my one child. We have to show them Deon Derrico with one of his children dealing with an issue.
You said that in your video that, over the years or the seasons, what was frustrating is you didn't say it this way, but you almost kind of implied like they'll show the boring stuff. They'll just show Karen doing something mundane when there were all these other things happening. What would producers, okay, what was their strategy for your show? Why would they do that instead of, I mean, I would imagine with you, there's a lot of business dynamics,
Yeah.
family dynamics. Gigi, we haven't even talked about her yet, but I mean, okay, what was their mission for you?
The
Or
producers, respectfully, the producers were fighting also. Because remember, so each television show has the production company's producers.
yeah,
Then you have the executive producers at TLC or whatever network that says, so you come in as a production company producer, Sarah, and you say, you know what? I think the scene where Deon and Karen first got into their little riff about Darian's college, I think that's a real raw scene. And I feel like that scene many Americans will relate to. Some going to take Deon's side, some are going to take Karen's side, but it
sure,
speaks to the average household. And that's a great point. They take it to one of the executive producers because the executive producers overlook every scene, everything, right? And then they say, yeah, we don't like that scene. We want to show them talking in the kitchen washing dishes. I'm using that as an example.
sure.
And so Consequently, a lot of great stuff gets lost because they'll film that scene. They'll film the scene where Karen and I was first having the issues. That'll get filmed, but it'll get tossed. And so consequently, they're not capitalizing off of what people really want to see. People want to see realness and they
Yeah.
want to be able to relate. And when it's real, they're going to relate. Guaranteed. You're going to relate to one side. There's people that's going to relate to my side. There are people that's going to relate to Karen's side. And I think that's what you want to bring to the viewers. You want to bring them both. And you allow the viewers to decide what they feel was the best. And that's where I feel not just TLC. I feel like many networks sort of miss the park or miss the mark. Excuse me, miss the mark there. And that's where, going back to your point, us maintaining either full control or a big majority of it, because we now get chance to bring our vision before the viewers. It's been happening all along. When the viewers have been asking for certain things that we brought to the forefront, a lot of those things were things that both Karen and I privately had discussed that we wanted to put out there. And the viewers would say, "Oh my God, I love this." And I'm like, but we never got the credit for it. Not just the credit, we never got the respect for it, because had we gotten the respect, they would have listened to more of what we said, which means it would have garnered us a greater position. They didn't. But again, that worked out to our benefit.
In the 5 seasons you all did, is there one family issue or filming where you were like, "Oh my God, this would be so good to show," and they didn't do it?
Oh, every season. Hell, every episode. There's every episode I could name that. I mean,
Anything stand out?
you said what now?
Anything stand out? Like any
Yes.
storyline? Okay, well,
So there was a story where I purchased Gigi and Karen a car for Christmas, brand new cars for Christmas. And the producer under the production company, she said, ironically, her name is Sarah, beautiful producer. But she said, I don't know if the network's going to want that. That's okay. We know we're not going to air that. I said, no problem. I said, but I'm going to need a good hour to break away because I got to go sign the papers for the vehicles. And I'm going to have them drive the vehicles down the street with bows on the vehicles, right? And so this was going to be done totally off of, not filmed, basically. We set it all up. When Sarah finds out that I'm getting ready to go, she had forgotten that she and I had spoken about it like 2 months prior. She's like, "I don't know what I was thinking, but that's great. I want to capture that. Oh my God, that's going to be the best," because both Karen and Gigi needed new cars. Long story short, they filmed it. TLC scrapped it because they were General Motors cars. I'm from Detroit, so I'm the
yeah, you're
General
Motor
Motors.
City, baby. Yeah.
Motor City, yes, I'm RGM. And so they felt like it was too much of a commercial for GM, and they scrapped it. I have yet to see that footage. I stayed on TLC's next, telling them at least let me see the footage because I was going to film that myself and post it on my YouTube. I didn't want the network to even have it. And so when Sarah said to me that it would be a part of the show, I go to TLC. They fight and fight. Oh, we never shared that. We never give that. Finally, they send it to me. We were extremely busy. I didn't know that it was on um, a time opening. So I had a time period to open it. If I didn't open it, I lost it. I have never seen that footage, and it was absolutely
That's a good
the
one.
best. It was absolutely the best. I mean, Gigi broke down in my confessionals. I talked about all that Gigi had done for me growing up, what made me do this for her, and why I bought Karen a car because this is my wife. This is her dream car. It was just beautiful. It was tears everywhere. My children cried. It was an absolute beautiful scene that you guys never saw.
Dang.
It
Yeah.
made no sense at all. To me, it behooved them to contact General Motors and work out the marketing with that to allow it to have been a part of the show.
Well,
It
or
was That's how
simply
great it was.
blur the graphic, simply blur the graphics on all of them and just have you say, "I'm giving the girls cars today," or whatever, not even name the company. I mean, they could have done that.
Well, I
It
wasn't even naming the company. I never named the company. You could see the
right.
logo, but I never named the company. That wasn't the thing. They never showed it. That was the craziest. I mean, that was real life moment. And the worst part about it, because we filmed it, I wasn't able to have Eric recorded because Eric was a part of the delivery for me. So Eric, I drove a car and Eric drove a car. Originally, I was going to drive a car and have one of the guys from the dealership to drive the car, and Eric was going to film it all for me. But when Sarah through TLC said that they was going to take it, they wanted it. They filmed it. We made Eric be a part of it. That way, we didn't have to sign us a form for the driver of the other vehicle, sign off on it. It was perfect. But now I got none of it. I got absolutely none of that.
So were your ratings good? That's the other thing. A lot of people go, oh, nobody walks away from TLC. Their ratings were bad, and TLC is the one that canceled this show. How were your ratings?
Our ratings were never bad. TLC did not cancel our show. Again, TLC wanted to film with us bad, especially during the divorce. It was me. I felt like when I was told that they were angry, I'm putting it mildly, they were angry at the fact that we didn't let them in. When I was told that, it pissed me off. And it did. It pissed me off. And I then said, you know what? I think we're going to decline filming. And I got it in text. I have it in text and in email where I said, yeah, we're going to decline going forward. But thank you guys so much. And you guys have been the best. And I was respectful. And that was that. And at that point, they said they put me on a whole hour. They're going to exercise their right 2 hour hold. Typically, they let a family go. When they're done with you, they just let you go. They really do. They let you out of it. But I believe they thought maybe we didn't have anything. I believe they thought we were bluffing. No, as a result of our 5 seasons and as a result of that divorce and how it went everywhere, we were inundated. And I cannot stress we were inundated by both production companies and by way of networks to film. And when they start pitching certain ideas and things that they would do or potentially do, that's when I said, you know what, I think we can do better. And we had a family talk. And collectively, although Karen and I were divorced, we were able to collectively agree that it would be best if we go somewhere else. And at that point is when I sent the email and text to TLC's liaison and said, hey, thank you guys for such a great run. We really appreciate it, but we want to back out. And so to your point, yes, many families do. They don't want to cancel if they've been on something great. But I think that's where you really have to sort of know what you're bringing. And at the point that we got a chance to see from the ratings and from the fans how great we were doing, that's when it's like, yeah, respectfully, this has to be a great fit for us all. We can't feel that we're just bending over and giving everything and not getting a lot in return. Again, and TLC did give a lot, but they still didn't give as much as I felt they should have given.
Was
And
it
I'm not speaking just monetary either. I'm not speaking just monetary. I'm speaking as a whole. They didn't market us to our own community. I mean, right now, if I go in, I give this parable all the time. They cross marketed us, which was great for the long run. Everyone wants to be cross branded, right? But
yeah.
for the short period, we're not known amongst our own people. Like if I go in a room full of 100 white people, 80 of them are going to know me.
Everybody knows you.
Yep. If I go in a room full of 100 blacks, I may
You're
get
like,
10
oh,
to
you
know
were on
me.
a reality show?
Exactly. Absolutely. No lie. So
Oh,
so
great.
that's a good
Yeah,
yeah,
their
that's a
audience
good
is
thing
really
in the
white,
long
huh?
run. You said what now?
Your audience is pretty white, huh? For
Oh
TLC.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I see
It's,
that.
our audience is either white, Latinos, Mexican, Asian. I mean, almost everything. We have a very very small percentage of blacks. Now, to that point, TLC told us that they had never had as many black viewers come to their network until they had our show. And I kept fighting, saying, "You guys need to advertise us like Vegas." The Vegas African American community doesn't recognize us like that. In Detroit, my hometown, Detroit is really big on supporting, people that make it out, so to speak. Detroit, we filmed at the African American Museum, which is a huge museum in Detroit. Do you know none of them at the African American Museum in Detroit, which is where I'm from, and I was pretty known in Detroit when I lived there. Do you know none of them knew our show? And they wind up scrapping all of that scene. So that goes back to another one you just asked me. How much do they scrap? It was very informative to everyone who watched, if you watched it, but they scrapped it. So there's just so much, there was so many missed opportunities that unfortunately they weren't able to see. And I'm not angry at them. I understand that that was in divine purpose because we get chance to now tap into everything that they left on the table, which will catapult the Derrico brand to heights that we could only have dreamed of.
One last question on this, and then I want to ask you about Gigi and, like you said, the kind of like what is next for the Derrico brand. But obviously you've made it very clear, and I think you bring a great point up. It's just it's one of those, I don't know where the future of entertainment is going to be if you're going to get what you want in that regard of credit. You two want credit, which
Yeah.
you should get. But was it also compensation? I mean, this isn't a secret. People talk like TLC really doesn't pay well at all. I mean, were you paid well?
Yes and no. We were paid well. I feel like every time we negotiated, they would they would honor our request. But they still, when you juxtapose the size of our family, and that's including both Gigi and Eric, and Gigi and Eric didn't get paid the first season.
Okay.
Karen and I paid Gigi and Eric out of our compensation.
Okay.
But understand, you have 18 people eating out of that pot. And that's, it's myself, Karen, all the children, and then Gigi and Eric.
Yeah.
So, and Gigi and Eric, they adjusted their lives to be on our show. So when you look at the grand scheme, no, we didn't get paid what we should have gotten paid, or there should have been some kind of income in kind somewhere. We didn't get no brand deals. I mean, we filmed with Disney. I love Disney. Disney literally gave us the world. I mean, gave us the world. But outside of Disney, we, the benefits in being on television didn't prove fruitful for us when it come down to brand deals, endorsement deals, commercials. You know, because when those things came to us individually, when those brands, Walmart, Target, when they came to us individually, TLC says, "Well, we want you to hold off. Don't do anything with them yet because X, Y, and Z." So of course we're holding on for the bigger picture because in our minds, if we're with TLC like the Duggars, I mean, that would prove fruitful over the course of years. That wasn't in our case. So
Yeah.
this is not me bashing. I want to be clear. It's just me being honest. I'm just telling the truth. It's something needs to happen specifically to reality stars where we have better protection with networks. I mean, I get it. The networks is spending the big bucks to take the gamble on you. But once
Sure.
you've proven yourself, it shouldn't be that same fight. And we proved ourselves. We had 5 seasons. I mean, we had 5 seasons. That's proof. So when you ask how great was the show, we had 5 seasons. And we were the first African American family to be produced by TLC as a television show of large family.
The Thousand Pound Sisters have often come out and said, they made about $3,000 each an episode. Were you making that? Were you making $3,000? Were you making more?
Yeah, we were more than that.
Oh,
We
that's
were more
good.
than
That's good. So
yeah.
were you making like 10,000 an episode for your?
We were more than that.
Okay,
But
okay,
just
that's good
yeah,
money.
yeah,
That's
we
good
we
money.
made we made good money. Again, you still have to look at this 18 people. But
Yeah,
we
that's
made
true.
good money. We made very, very good money, but still this 18 people. So we wasn't able to branch off like you'll see Bravo shows, the Real
Yeah.
Housewives. But remember, they don't promote the same way either. Like you see Bravo have BravoCon. Was
Yes.
it BravoCon
Yeah,
where
they're
they
in
bring
Vegas
all their yeah,
this
they bring
weekend.
all their celebrities together. We all their reality stars together. TLC doesn't do that. So we wind up becoming friends with the Shimwells. The Shimwells were in the blended bunch.
Yep.
Yeah, oh God, Erica and her husband name is Spencer. They great family. They only got 1 season. We wind up becoming very good friends with them. We still talk to them. Unfortunately, they just lost their son last year, which that should have been covered, but it wasn't. But my point is, there are things that could be done that would catapult not just TLC's brand, but it would catapult the individual cast members. But they just don't put the dollars there. So yeah, Bravo would be great if Bravo wasn't as salacious as they are. Bravo is great because they do quite a bit that help their cast to
Promote.
capitalize off
Yeah.
of their platform.
Well, and they'll let you promote your business. I mean, I think now they kind of have something, the Bethany Frankel clause, which, by the way, you should reach out to her. She supposedly is doing a reality reckoning. She wants reality TV stars to have a union. I don't even know if she's still doing it, but
But I
you
heard
hear
that.
that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, yes, we need that. We need that. There needs to be some type of protection because I mean, respectfully, that's why they do reality TV, right? They're able to produce a television show for almost pennies, a reality TV show for
Yeah, very
almost
cheap to produce. Yeah.
yes, for pennies versus a scripted show. And I'm a businessman, so I want them to make their money, but also I take care of my workers. And I want my workers to always feel like I see them. And that's the one thing that I felt that TLC didn't bring to the table with us because they know, again, I have 14 children. Put me in the position, since you are a television show specific to large families, there's no way that I should have been put in the best position to take care of my children through the platform in which they have provided. Now I'm able to do it through now, but I'm speaking of on the TLC's network and
Sure.
brand. Yeah. Again, this is not me disparaging TLC. Again, I love TLC. I'm just going to still watch TLC. But even prior to us being on TLC, I didn't watch TLC. You know why? I didn't see me on there.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could relate to. And I wanted people, whether they black or white, I don't care what color you are with race, I want you to be able to identify when you see us and relate to things that we're going through. And that's the thing I wanted to bridge that gap. And I felt like our show did that. Our show bridged that gap. And that I would have to say thanks to TLC for putting us out there to the majority, and we were loved by the majority. And so I'm forever grateful for that.
All right. When you were making $25,000 an episode, were you paying the kids? Like,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Yes. We had to get an account here in Nevada specific to each child.
Oh, wow. So do they still have that money? Like you guys have put that money away for them from,
Absolutely.
wow, that's
Yes.
great.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Is 25,000 an episode more? Was it more or less? Are we in the ballpark?
I will say no comment. I'll say no comment.
How is Gigi? How's Gigi? Fan favorite. How's she doing health wise? She had a cancer battle. That was a lot. And they did show a lot of that, which was great.
They did. They did. And
Great.
let me be
Good.
clear, TLC wasn't against showing our business. They just didn't see, like they never said no, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They just didn't, they saw more value in showing Eric putting on a bunny rabbit costume and playing with the children. So they would show one snippet of my real estate or Karen teaching, one snippet, and then the rest would be shown, what Eric with a bunny rabbit out costume or us sitting around the house, one big family. So, but they never was against us promoting, if that makes sense. They were never against that.
Yeah.
So to that right there. And then going back to Gigi, yes, Gigi is doing, I would say about the same. It's still we have up and down moments, to be honest. Thank God she's tried to do the holistic. She's still trying to do the holistic. The holistic is very, very expensive. Thank God she has medical, but she was trying to get away from the chemo, but it seems like she just sort of keeps getting sucked into having to do the chemo, which has been helping her, but it also drains her and it makes her very, very sick. So that's been a big ordeal. But I would say about from you guys' perspective as the viewer, the same. And in our position with Gigi, that's a good thing because there are many people that don't have that same comment. They can't say that everything is the same.
How are the doctors classifying it? Is she in remission? Is she still, kind of stage 4? Is her cancer contained? What is it being
Good
described
question.
as now?
Good question. So with lung cancer, technically, you can't be in remission.
Okay.
However, Gigi has many moments where that's what it feels like. But technically, lung cancer, a person with lung cancer can't be diagnosed as in remission. And I don't know why that is.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the ones. Yeah. So, but from our perspective, that's what it looks like. Because she'll have moments where they'll say she's had shrinkage, and then nothing seems to be really growing or going on. And it's not moving to other direction, other areas in her body. So for us, that's like remission.
That's
But
pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, but they don't call it that. So if that helps your question.
Yeah. How's your relationship with Gigi? You know, that was always interesting to and Karen, like it was always interesting to watch all that play out. Where are you and your mom now?
It's funny you would ask. Gigi and I have not been in the best position. We really haven't. As a matter of fact, Gigi is living in Detroit right now, which is a huge ordeal because her being my mother and her health situation. But there's a lot that has gone on with that, and that we have to work through. It's painful because Gigi not been like this, but I would just say within the last year or so, it hasn't been the best, and so it led to ultimately her being in Detroit.
Yeah.
So all I can say is pray for us, and pray for us. Again, we represent the average family and having the myriad of challenges that we're having to overcome. We really do.
Um, Deon, your life, I mean, you've had, your life, you've lived like 4 lifetimes, my friend. I mean, like I could talk to you for 6 hours. I mean, okay, what got the strain? What strained that with Gigi? Is it just what was she unhappy or were you unhappy about, or was it just getting too much? What?
Both. First of all, both.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I have actually thought about reaching out to Ayanla. You know Ayanla from Oprah's
Yes,
show?
yes, fix my life. Yes,
Yes,
I love
I
her.
yes, I love Ayanla. And believe it or not, in many ways, outside of my relationship with Gigi, Gigi in many ways think like Ayanla, and she speaks like Ayanla. And I just thought like I would love to see how she would be if because some of the things I feel that I feel Gigi's wrong on, I feel Ayanla would tell her, yeah, you're wrong, sister girl. And then I can see Gigi, don't call me sister girl. Don't call me sister girl. And I'm just like, yeah. But there's just a myriad of things. I think every child goes through the feeling of something that their parent didn't say or do when they were 10, for example.
Yeah,
And there are things that I feel happened, years ago that I wish would have been dealt with differently, by my mother.
sure.
And I give respect to the fact that my mother was a single parent. She was in survival mode. She says to me all the time, I didn't have what you and Karen had. Y'all had each other. Y'all are a dual parent household, both want to be there, both taking care of your children. I didn't have that. And she didn't. And I'm not saying to her that, she did have it. I'm just saying to recognize when I tell you, as a 21-year-old man who's been on this earth since 1970, I just want you to be able to validate things that I'm telling you happened and fairly see where I'm coming from in my plight.
Yeah.
And she's feeling attacked and feels like, oh, you just go back, 4 years ago, and I just feel like that's wrong. That you beat me up 40 years ago. I'm like, Ma, it's not like that. It's not that. And that has been and I'm letting her know things that, like, one of the issues that I had. This is a good one right here. Gigi got on national television and made it to the world that, yeah, Derek, he wants things his way, and he does this and he does that. Well, where did I learn it from? I'm from a one parent household. My mother she raised me, and for many reasons I'm glad she did. But she raised me. I had to clean the dishes. I had to clean the house. I had to shovel the snow. I had to cut the grass. I had to clean the bathroom. I had to take the trash out. I had to wash the dishes, and it had to be immaculate. And her theory was, because my older brother had run away. He wasn't there. Her theory was, if anything is done wrong, you're the one to blame. So I learned at a very early age the importance in being a leader. I understood that it fell on my shoulders. So when the viewers say he's just a control freak. Well, if Gigi had have explained that, I became a control freak because I had a control freak mother, respectfully, and she made me see the importance in me being that way. I got a chance to learn very early why me being over many things helped to keep things intact. And I learned that firsthand from my mother keeping our house. Our house was like, that was my world. I had to manage that. I was responsible for managing our entire house. So now you get this 21-year-old who's managing a house with his wife, and how do you change that? That's remember, Karen met me when I was 31. When she met me, I had my own house and everything. So she wound up moving in with me. But when she moved in with me, everything was already set. My trash had to be out every Tuesday. That was my trash day. You know, my landscapers came on Thursday. That was already discussed and negotiated. I had cleaners that came to the house and cleaned my house on certain days. My point in saying that is everything was already everything was already in motion. My apologies. Are you still there, Sarah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you just have a call?
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. So everything was already in motion. Everything was already in motion and set. And that became the dynamic of our relationship, mine and Karen. But that derived from the foundation in which Gigi had laid. So when Gigi got on national TV and say, "Oh, you just want things your way," and well, first of all, Ma, you wanted things your way. Second of all, Ma, things were always your way. But I came to understand and respect that. And you raised me to be the person that I am today. But then now it's like, well, no, I want to stop and change the person you are today. Too late. So now, of course, I try to make those adjustments within the family to make sure as a leader of the family and the patriarch of the family that I am bringing to the forefront everyone's perspective and everyone's idea, and I have to take that into account. But at the end of the day, I have to sit down and say, okay, Karen wants this, Darian wants that, Derek wants this, so on and so forth. Which way do we go? And I have to make that executive decision and hope in my heart that I've made the best one. Because ultimately, as the man, it falls on me. And so, with that being said, my success rate with that has been very high. It has been very high. It really and truly has. And that's the part that I feel like Gigi doesn't give any credence to. So we have some differences that again, I hope Ayanna see this and reaches out and says, "I want to
I
fix your
live,
damn
right?
lives."
No, I love that you said that, and thank you for sharing that. And I think that's something you, just as you know, as I said, I've been a viewer on and off over the years, and you don't get any credit for that because people don't realize like your childhood, like what you endured. And
Yes.
the problem is, nothing against, our mothers are probably somewhat similar in age, but that generation, they don't go to therapy. They don't, it's kind of like
Nope.
pull you up by the bootstraps. And
Yep.
the good part about this therapy movement is we realize, and for men, you have a lot emotionally on your shoulders, like everything
Yes.
you live through and everything that is expected of you. And it's like you don't get any grace or moments to be like, wow, this was really hard. Like Gigi did the best she could, probably based on how she was raised and
Right.
what she had. But like, what happened to you, I mean, it's hard. And like, that generation doesn't really take accountability where it's like, you know what, I shouldn't have done that, or we should have done this differently, or I did this to you because I was thinking this, and so I would love to see you guys do more of a reality show. And I think, look, I think it's across all colors. I think it's black families, it's white families, but
Yep.
black families have different challenges that white families, haven't always had. So
Yep.
I really hope you guys do that because I think that's a part of you, Deon, that we haven't seen. And I think it's unfair that you get that label of, oh, he's controlling or a narcissist or Karen should leave. Because it's like a
Yes.
lot of people don't know what you really lived through to get
Yes.
that part.
Yes, that's so true. And like even Karen have seen the myriad of things. And this is not to, I'm just being real. I'm
Yeah,
just being real.
totally. It's not to take anything away from your mother. She's great
Yes.
on television. And again, I'm sure her childhood wasn't the easiest either. I mean,
But actually, now believe
wasn't
between
great.
you and yeah, between you and I, now wait a minute. Between you and I, my mother was the middle girl, the only girl of two boys. And she was spoiled. She was spoiled. And so, and the two boys, of course, being boys, had to, endure with everything. And so consequently, though, I feel like my mother brought that spoiled mentality into her adult life. So although her controlling side came from she's spoiled and can get away with it, I wasn't spoiled. I mean, Gigi's a good mother, but I wasn't spoiled. I had a lot on my shoulders, and Gigi was a very firm mother. Don't get it twisted. How you see her now, imagine her at 30.
Oh,
Imagine her
I
at
got
30
no.
raising me, and I got in trouble in school. Like Gigi wasn't having it. So, but what it did teach me, it taught me about structure. She really did an amazing job teaching me structure and order. Without it, we wouldn't. If we didn't have stoplights, there would be damn crashes all over the city, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So Gigi taught me that, and I just felt like she did me a disservice when she didn't acknowledge publicly all that I've done. Like she's taught me privately, with just us as a family, even before television. But when the time came up before the viewers, it's like the viewers would say, "Yeah, even Gigi said it. He's this, he's that." And I mean, I have been talked about, Sarah, my
I know you have.
entire life.
I
I
know.
really have. But my entire life, even before reality TV.
Really? Really?
Oh yes, because I've always spoke my mind, and I learned that from my mother. Because I
Oh,
was bullied in school, and she said, "You carry your ass to school, and you tell them this, and you do this, and you blah blah." And so I learned that behavior, and I learned you're right. I got to stick up for myself because if I don't, no one will. That's what she never told that story. My mother, Gigi, would physically fight, literally, Sarah. She would physically fight in a heartbeat. I mean, physically fight. I
I
mean,
bet.
I'm telling you, yeah, what y'all see in Gigi, she's really that. But my point is, so imagine I had that type of woman raising me, right? So Gigi's an alpha woman. What does she create? An alpha male.
Yeah.
And now I'm an alpha. I don't even know how not to be. So when people would say, in my household, I would do, listen, that works in your damn household. It ain't gonna work in mine. In my household, I'm gonna have the last say. That's why when Karen met me, I'm 10 years older than Karen. When Karen met me, I had everything already together. Karen was only 21. At the time, I felt like she was a baby. I even had to talk to Gigi to get Gigi's permission to even date her because I felt like I was a pervert, to be honest. But nevertheless, when Karen met me, I had everything in order. Karen came on my turf, so to speak, and rightfully so as a 31-year-old man. But how do you change that mindset from a leader's perspective? You don't. So Karen said, "Oh yeah, I love a man that's like this. I don't want a man that I can run over. If I can run over him, I ain't gonna take him." She would say stuff like that. But people don't know that. So when people say that I'm being controlling, no, I don't see it as being controlling. I see it as, Denver said, and you guys will see this. I'm gonna reveal this one little part. We had a family meeting recently, and we were filming it, and Denver said on his own, he said, "Poppy," he says, "we can go to each other, mommy, and ultimately you." He says, "Mommy," because they watch mommy come to me for advice or whatever. "Mommy comes to you, but who do you go to?" I told him that. Now this was Denver. Denver he's the youngest of the first set of twins, Dallas and Denver.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, "You are just remarkable to even think that." I said, "I'm only able to go to God respectfully. I can only go in prayer. I don't have a human that I can go to the way y'all come to me." See, they come to me for the answers to get, resolved. He said, "But who do you go to?" And I say that to say that's the thing that many people don't realize. Strong people have those moments. And who do they go to? And so just another thing, I'll wrap this up after saying this. Gigi and I had some counseling sessions. And
Yeah.
do you
Therapy. Yeah.
yeah, we had some. And in the middle of when the therapist agreed with me, Gigi got mad and stormed out and said that she's only agreeing with me because I tricked the therapist. I'm like, "Ma, that goes against the therapist. I mean,
Yeah.
what benefit is it for her to go on my side?"
There's no, there's not.
Yeah,
They don't do that. You know what I mean? They see too many clients. They have too many,
exactly.
maybe it
Yes,
happens 1 in 1,000th time, but these people are trained and deal with family dynamics. There's no way. Yeah.
yes.
No,
And
that's
that's what I told her. when we started unlayering that onion, she was like, "Yeah, he's on point with everything he's saying." And Gigi, I felt like, and I told her this recently. Years ago, Gigi was really, to me, she was really fair in her overall thought process. Like she would say to you, "Yes, Sarah, you know what? My apologies when I said what I said to you the other day. I was wrong, and I know I didn't see it at that moment, but I thought about it over the last day or two, and you're right." And I learned the integrity in that.
Mm.
And so now I become that person. And it's like now in Gigi's older age, she don't do that. And I'm like, what happened to this lady what happened to this other lady?
She's like reverted back. It's like, no, we're supposed to be evolving. How are you going backwards? Yeah, that's a
Yes,
lot. It's a lot for you, Deon. Look, you got to come back. I think, even just
absolutely.
going back and telling your story. By the way, my husband's from West Bloomfield, Michigan. I love the state of Michigan. And I'll tell you right now, Michigan, Detroit, I think that state produces, that in California produce more stars and
Yes, I
talented
agree.
people. There's something in the air and the water in Michigan about you
Thank
all.
you. I love you. Thank you for that, sir.
I
I
love a
agree.
Michigan boy. I really do. I love a Michigan man. So
Thank you.
Detroit is just such a magical place.
Thank you.
I
And
think you got it.
it's funny your name is Sarah because you feel like the producer Sarah that we had for the show, which happened to be one of the best producers. And we love her and we still talk to her. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be doing business with her on our new show. But you remind me so much of her. She's just a good, genuine, real person. And you feel it when you deal with her. And that's what you just have the aura of it. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and I want to stay in touch with you because my goal is someday to start a network. And but I know you've got a lot of irons in the fire, but you never know if our paths will cross. But I think you guys, you really have something. I mean, I love the fact that you guys have all these triplets and twins, and 14 kids is a lot to navigate. And what's going to happen in the future with you and Karen, and yeah, there's so much to your story.
It is.
So, let's stay in touch. I'd love to have you back when you land where you're going to land. And like I said, I don't know. I think you're talented enough. I don't even know if I'd go with a network. I'd put it on YouTube behind a paywall. I'd make all the money. Make you
I'm going to, hey,
make your kids
Sarah,
do your TikToks.
after this, Sarah, I'm going to reach out to you. I
I'll
want,
tell you everything. Yeah.
yeah,
Tell you
I'm going to reach out to you because we have a lot of great options, but I'm exploring everything. The one thing we will not do, and again, thanks to TLC because TLC helped to put us out there.
absolutely
But
100%.
yeah, I
But
won't sign with anyone else without really making sure everything jives up. So I'm not signing yet.
Jan, I was in your spot 10 years ago. I used to work for iHeartRadio as a morning radio personality, and I worked for Fox 5 DC, which is owned by the Fox network.
Oh,
And I worked for two companies for I don't know how many years, probably 10, 15 years. And they own everything. You never get credit for your ideas. They own everything. They take credit for all of your stuff. You never profit off it. You never make what you should. And I got fired from my last radio job. I took my severance package. I started my own podcast, and I will forever own the rights to this. I'll distribute it the way I want. I'll make money when I sleep. I'm happy to share anything and everything that I've done, but I've been where you are, and I spent years pitching shows to them. And again, I'm so grateful. Like, I got a lot of people that listen to my podcast are from those years of watching me on TV, much like or
yes.
listening to me on the radio. I'm so grateful, but I know what those networks they're never going to make you producer. They're never going to give you credit. They're never going to pay what they really should. And it's fine. But when you've got talent and such a roster of these beautiful kids so deep of all the things they could do, it's scary and it's tough. And I really didn't make any money the first like 4 years, but after that it clicked. And so I'm happy to share with you because I think you guys I think you should fuck it and just put it all on your own stuff. Get a social media person. I mean, you're a trip. So you get
You're a
ratings.
trip.
You get ratings. You're really good.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I really mean it. Thank you for reaching
So
out to me. I'm so glad you saw the clip and which led to you reaching out to me. This has been a great, when you're having a great conversation, when time is flying, you're like, damn, it's that
I know,
time.
I know. I could talk to you for a whole nother hour about everything, but you'll come back. And my listeners are the ones too. I've followed you on and off, like I said, for years, but my listeners too love you. And they're always like, what's going on with the Derricos? And like, what is the truth about their whole, I'm like, let's get to the bottom of it. I need to hear it too.
We're really We're really divorced. It was not done for show. If a shit show wasn't done for show, but it's a real divorce. We're working through it like anyone else. We have good days, we have bad days. We have days we go in a damn car and she and I,
That's
not
hard.
physical. Yeah, we just go at it. And then we go back in front of the church like, hey, baby, what's going on? And they don't know what the hell just happened. Some of those moments are captured because we have Eric. Eric helps to film for us. So we want to be as real and as raw. We want you guys to go on that journey and see how it unfolds with us. And that's why even when you just ask about me and Gigi, like this is
Yeah.
it. I mean, it is it's what I'm dealing with, and it's a hard pill to swallow because all my life I thought the best relationship with my mother, and that's what I recently shared with her. Like, if we had the relationship that I thought we had, I wouldn't be able to go look on all these damn comments from these damn viewers misinterpreting who I am as a person because my mother is who established that.
Yeah.
That gets established by your parent. And I needed her to see, like, from the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever you feel in your heart is going to come out of your mouth one way or the other. And so I feel like with her, she don't really see that. And that's why my prayer is that Ayanla, and we don't have to do it televised. Ayanla can do this privately. We don't have to do it at all televised.
I
But
gotta look her up. I gotta see what she's doing because I think she's been off TV for a while. I don't know what she's
that's why I say, listen, we can do it privately. I can fly her out to our house. I really I would love to have things that we've experienced to go through Ayanla. I would love that.
I know. I gotta reach out to her too. She's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you,
yeah. What is she?
her and Gigi are so much alike. I'm like, oh, I can see how that would go because Gigi is really like Ayanla in many, many areas. So,
I know.
but
And
yeah,
Ayanla's got such a story. I mean, turning down Oprah, remember years ago, and like kind of being on the outs with Oprah, then to come back. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
She's a full circle woman. Yeah.
Yes, she is. She really and truly is. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, with that being said, Sarah, thank you for the
Ew.
for watching and your followers. Feel free to tap in with me, and I'll make sure once we land on something. I still want to speak with you before that, but
Yes.
once we land on something, I'll make sure to make you aware of it. Come back on, and I would love to keep
I mean, we
this
didn't even
going.
get to all the kids and like the dynamics of the children. And I mean, you've been through so much loss too, like big
Yeah.
wins and big losses and
Yes.
losing your son Carter and your child. I mean, that was awful. Like how
Yes.
you overcome that grief and how you feel like that's impacted you. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast. Like you
It
got
is.
kids,
And,
Karen.
and to answer your question, it still bothers us.
I
We not
know.
every
You
day. I
never.
don't. Yeah, not every day, but there are moments that just things will happen when we celebrate Dior and Diaz's birthday. We
Oh,
are always reminded of Carter. That never goes away. And now they're asking more about Carter because they're at that age. And so, in going back to the children, they are finding their little identities more and more. And I feel like, again, TLC really left that on the table. And again, I'm glad because I'm glad that I am blessed to see it. I feel like Chris Jenner.
I know. I was going to say it's an opportunity for you. Yes, you are.
Yes, I feel like Chris Jenner. Listen, Chris Jenner, please reach out to me. I feel like Chris Jenner in the sense of, I've been saying this for a while, is that we are the family version of the Kardashians in the sense of how many of us there is and the potential in us covering so many areas of life, so to speak, right? And it's funny because the Kardashians' old show was Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And when they came down with doubling down with the Derricos,
Oh,
someone thought it was too many syllables. And someone else said, well, it's as many as Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You see how big they are. And that's how that name stuck.
wow. By the
Yeah.
way, Carter's the only child you have that was named with a C. That was
Yes,
a lot of people, and it's Karen's like maiden name, right? Was that?
that, that's correct. So Karen always liked the first name of a male
Hmm.
named Carter. So
Yeah.
Karen's father goes by Carter. Okay. Of course, that's his last name. So Karen had a dream of naming her son Carter. This was before she and I met. I had a dream of naming all of my children the initials D's, because I always got complimented on that all through school, all through Detroit growing up. And so when she and I met, I told her my vision. She told me her vision. I'm like, yeah, I like Carter too, but I wanted all my children to have the initial D's. She's like, I really like that also. Let's go with that. So when we had Carter, we didn't want Carter's name to get mixed up with the other D's, as it often would have had we not separated him with Carter.
Ah, I got it. What a nice tribute. What a
Yeah,
beautiful
so
tribute.
that was our way of, she got what she wanted, I got what I wanted. But more importantly, we were able to give honor forever to him because he stands totally alone. You'll
Yes.
never get him mixed up with any other children.
Never. You're right. And you got a lot of D's. So that's so it's true. That's a great tribute to him. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Deon Derrico, we can't wait to see what's next. We will be following you. Everyone needs to follow you on social media. Is there any place else we can follow you, find you, you want to promote?
So I am, it's Deon Derrico everywhere. It's my name, DeonDerrico, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Snapchat, which I rarely use.
No, me neither. I never use Snap. I know.
Yeah, and on Facebook, we're Derrico. So our Facebook account is our joined family account. So someone message me or message Karen, we both see it, we both get it, and we still keep that. So we still have that. So Derrico on Facebook, and everywhere else is my name as it's spelled, DeonDerrico. No periods, no dots, no slashes. If you see that, it's an imposter.
So great to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Pleasure all mine. You are a wonder. I mean that.
Well, right back at you. Hang right there and we'll exchange info. So hold on.